Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hello, how are you? Hope you're well. My name is Stephen McGuenzi and welcome into the dive into Proverbs. We've been going through the book of Proverbs since the 1st of January and we'll be completing it 31 chapters on the 31st. And Proverbs is so good because, every day we face issues of life. And as you look through the book of Proverbs, it tells you that it gives you tools and keys on insight for living. We know we all need, if we're going to live our best life, it's important that we get as much help as we can. And I think Proverbs is packed on how you can have better relationships, how you can be a better employer and also a better employee, and also just to do life well. And so I think that I thank you for taking the time to put aside 10 to 15 minutes every day just to go through some of my personal takeaways on what we can get from each chapter of the book of Proverbs. Today is day number 18 of 31, and it's a really cool chapter. This chapter discusses so many things, and however, the topic of speaking or listening comes up in quite a number of verses. There's a total of 24 verses, and anything that is related to speaking or listening comes up 8 times. So that works out to me, that's 33%. So I think that, that's the bent that I'm going to take this morning, talking about how our words can either help us or can hurt us. And I don't know about you, all of us have to use our words each and every day. And I think that if we can be those that use positive words of affirmation, if we can be encouraging, and that's not to say that you become disingenuous where you're just sort of like saying things to people which are untrue. I'm not suggesting that. All I'm saying is that you've got a manner in which you use your speech that is going to be helpful. So even though you might be dealing with a difficult situation, you would still be able to maintain somebody's dignity, but and also able to resolve whatever issues that you are facing. So, however, verse 10 and 11 says, "The name of God is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe." And I think a strong tower in ancient times was a central place that people would run to whenever they needed protection. Whenever they were facing danger, they would go there because once they're there, they would feel safe and protected. Now for us, it's the name of God is a strong tower. And so we know that as people of faith, that if we have anything that we're facing in our lives, we can run to God. It is in his name. And essentially we're talking here about the character and the person of who God is. And so when we go to God, we can get forgiveness, we get grace, we get mercy, we get kindness. And of course, God and all of that, there's judgment, there's holiness, there's perfection. But I want to contrast that. It says that the rich think of their wealth as a strong defense. They imagine it to be a high wall of safety. Now, this is not an indictment on rich people. Actually, it's saying we love rich people. If you've got rich friends, I hope you can introduce them. You can introduce them to me. But really, what we're saying here is that if you think that money is a defense for stuff in life, then you're in for a rude awakening. I've lived long enough. Trust me, I've lived long enough, nearly half a century, to understand that money comes and money goes, and if you put your trust in it, it is very uncertain. That is why Jesus talks about the uncertainty of riches, because sometimes there are things beyond our control. The economy can crash, your business may go belly up, and then what you're going to do? If you had put all your trust in your savings, because your savings go. And really what it is that it's not to say that money is bad, but it's saying our trust should not be in these things. This is why even, I think it's Paul who encourages that those that are wealthy, those that are rich, tell them to not put their trust in finances or in their riches, but to put their hope in God. Because ultimately, God is in control of everything, and we can, rather than put our trust in things, in money in this instance, we need to put our trust in God. So I think that is a really cool scripture. In fact, the funny thing is that, when you do, if money is something that you're so hung up about and it's really, really important to you, what will happen? You'll have sleepless nights and lots of fatigue because you're constantly in fear of what will happen if you're to lose your money. And so we don't want to be those people where money controls us. So money is good, but money should not have us. All right. So this key, it talks about speech and listening. The key thing is verse number 20 to 21. Those are the ones that I'll focus on. It says, wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring satisfaction. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. Okay. Wow. So, and I think what I want us to understand on verse 20, it is talking about a good conscience. And so when you use good words, kind words, words that are uplifting, your conscience is going to be nice and clear. You don't have any problems. Now, the commensurate of that is if you begin to say hurtful things that are not true, things that are meant to sort of like cause injury to somebody, sometimes our conscience will get to us and begin to torment us to say what you did was not the good thing to do. Words are so important. Our speech is so important that it's very important that we are mindful of the things that we say. If you don't believe me, what I'll ask you to do is that when you go to work starting today or tomorrow, just start going and saying hi to people. Say hi to people and comment them a genuine feedback. Don't give general feedback, give specific feedback about something that person might have done. If you start doing that, see the results that you will get. You'll get absolutely amazing results when you begin to give feedback properly, but also that you start using kind words. Now, I don't want to challenge you to go and say bad things, because I know that if you go to work and you start just slamming everybody, shouting at everybody, telling them that they're not good for anything, you will not be in a job for a very long time. So the best thing to do is to always do the positive, not the negative, because you don't want to focus on the negative, you want to focus on the positive and see what that will do, not just for the other person, but also for yourself. And so speech can inspire positive or negative responses. And the speech comes with consequences for the speaker, like I said earlier on. And there's a saying that says, those who live by the sword die by the sword. And so I guess if we look at the book of Proverbs, verse number 21, it says, the one who lives by their words will die by their words. It's either you speak life-giving, healthy words, and those will bring success and safety to you, which is what you really want for your life. You don't want to be known as a person that is negative or somebody who's always cynical. You want to be somebody whose speech is even-tempered. I think there's a verse that talks about being even-tempered somewhere. No, that was yesterday. It talks about somebody who's even-tempered. And that's just the key thing, some encouragement. Try speak positively and see what happens internally and also with your relationships. And so thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and leaving your comments so that we can have a discussion, so that I can know what you're getting out of the scriptures. Because you know what? Iron does sharpen iron. We can all learn from one another as we get insight for living our best life. And so, as I always say, hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and peace. Here you can't do these in Australia, you gotta do this. So that's why I'm trying to do it this way. Normally we're used to doing a piece like that, but here it means something completely different and wrong. So thumbs up. Yeah.